Hi, welcome to Come Up Higher 2020. I'm your host, Shalina Steeson. I was wanting to share with you today about the fire of God. Uh, Whenever I was getting ready today, just normal things of getting ready, um, I heard fire purifies. And I was like, huh. Because I've been asking the Lord, what do you want me to say? Today I want to do one every week, and I think He wants me to. So I started to look it up a little bit, and I felt like the Lord was wanting me also to share how He was starting the fire in me. And whenever I moved from the United States to Norway, uh, I didn't quite just having time alone with God was almost like pulling teeth for me because just we're so busy and we got out of all of our routines and everything with the moving and the new place and just getting everything established that it was so dry. Like every time that I would come and have time with the Lord, it was just like, what do I do? Is He gonna come meet me? Or what is going to happen? I would really like for things to just come from the inside out, but I was having to just almost kind of just dwell on His promises and to think about how He has been and how He had been for me. And I was telling Him, Lord, you just have to you have to start it up from the inside out. I realized in my life that I need to be motivated from the inside out. And of course, that's how He wants us to live, is to live from the inside out, to not live with pressure coming from the outside, pushing us to move forward. So the Lord took me through a journey, and I just want to share the first part of the journey for you today. In Exodus 16, it was talking about when the Lord was bringing the Israelites out of bondage from Egypt and going through the Red Sea, and then in Exodus 15, it's talking or just it's just a deliverance song. They're so thankful for what God has done to save them from the Egyptian army. And in Exodus 16 is talking about how God is providing for them. And He's giving them manna, and then further on, they are tired of the manna, and He's giving them quail. So the Lord started to bring to my attention how He was supernaturally providing for them with manna from heaven every morning, and how the Israelites had to go out and gather the manna, even though that God gave them the manna, and it was plentiful. There was so much. Everybody had everything that they needed. If they had small amounts, they had enough for their family. If they had a huge amount, they still had enough for that day. They used all of it. And God was showing me how they had to go out and still gather. They had to go out and gather the manna to make their bread. And if they tried to live on the manna from the day before, they gathered so much that they were saving for the next day, so they wouldn't have to, maybe some lazy gatherers not wanting to go out and gather for the next day, they would start to get worms in their bread. And so then they couldn't eat that day because everything was spoiled. So then they're even more hungry, and they don't have the energy that they need for that day. And the Lord was showing me, it's He is providing for us supernatural manna every single day. But we have to go out and gather it. We have to be the ones to actually say, okay, our manna, how does God speak? What is the manna? We have in the Bible, you have the Logos word and you have the Rhema word. The Logos word is the written word in the Bible. It's the written word. And the Rhema word is the inspired word of God. And I just want to kind of, for me, this is what God was speaking. My inspired word of God, that is your manna. You need that. You need something to pop out at you, like whenever you're reading or something. When you're reading in the Bible, ask Him where He wants you to read. When you're a child, you don't know where you read, so you just open up the Bible and be like, okay, I'm pointing right here. What's God saying? And God uses that too. Um, but just ask Him where He wants you to read, and knowing you have to go out and gather every single day to have the nourishment, to have the energy that you need for that day, to have the strength from His strength, to have grace functioning in your life. You have to actually go out and gather. So then the Lord starts speaking to me, like, everything that has life in it, that you feel energy, that you feel built up, that you feel the peace of God, or you just have that, like, that revelation that is happening whenever you read the Bible or something, and something is popping out at you. When you have that experience, that is your manna for that day, and you should eat on it. You should just eat on whatever it is that God has given you. Eat on it, chew on it, meditate. That is the root word, or the word that they're using for that is masticate. So what you got to do, like a cow, you have to chew on that word that God has given you, and like swallow it and then spit it back up again like a cow does. They're chewing on the cud. So you have to chew on that word, swallow it, spit it back up. I don't know how many times the cows do it, but they eventually swallow it, and then they can digest it. That's what we have to do with the word of God. And the specific inspired word, the word that is popping out at us, we need to stay with those words. There's other ways that God can speak that are also life, bringing life to us. Like when we are living our lives as worship to God, and we are going about our day. Like sometimes when I'm walking to work, I'm just like thinking about the goodness of God, and thinking about how He has been in my life, and what He wants to do in that day. And then in some way or another, He gives me this either this peace, or maybe a picture in my mind of some way he's relating His goodness to me. He finds ways, and He'll find ways with everyone. But also like listening to music that has life in it. And usually the music that I experience life in is usually Christian music that is more vertical, where it's talking about who God is to me, and just focusing on His greatness, how big He is, and just who He is. And when I focus so much more on Him, then I start getting totally off of myself. But then He starts, like, the more I'm focusing on Him, the more He's showing me who He has created me to be. And it depends on like what the Lord wants to do in that day. But when you feel like the peace of God, just like you just feel just so much peace, just that could be also your manna. Go about your day. Do it in the morning. They gathered in the morning. So just in the beginning, just you have to go out and gather. You have to do something, because you know it's good for you. You need the energy for that day, so you have to go out and gather like the children of Israel. But God has manna every single morning. God has manna for each person, and He wants you to go out and gather it. So in every morning, if you are reading the Bible, you have a devotional or something like that, you are talking to a person, and then you just feel inspired words coming out. That is also manna. That is nourishing you. It's like the overflow of giving you receive out of giving. Like when you are actually doing what God has called you to do, there's so much energy and overflow that's in that. And it can look like anything. It can look like a business leader. It can look like a mechanic going to work and just like everything just fitting so great together, and you just have that natural gifting that is functioning. And when you're doing that as unto the Lord, then you just get so much energy out of it. It's like worship to him is also filling us up with energy for our days. So there's a lot more, but I want to keep these videos short, so I'll probably do one more. So I hope you enjoy this. I will speak even more about the journey that I had, that God was starting to ignite my heart. And the next video that I'm going to speak about is about the fire of God, because God has been speaking so much this morning about the fire. So, you lovely people, if you just get to see this one today, then I think it was fun to be able to share this with you, and I hope that I can go even deeper next time in the journey. So, you guys have a lovely day, and I'll see you next week.